using the least common denominator or multiple to add fractions. The first thing I need to do is estimate so I know how large or small my sum is going to be. 2/3 is about 1, and actually 1/2. And 3/4 is about 1. 1/2 plus 1 is 1.5. So my sum should be about 1.5. All right, so using my name, Miss F, we do multiples first and then factors. All right, so let's find our multiples first. We're going to count by 3s, we're going to count by 4s until we say a number 3 and 4 have in common. 3, 6, 9, 12. 4, 8, 12. That means that 2/3 is going to become a 12th. 3/4 is going to become a 12th. And we don't ever add denominators, so we simply rewrite the 12th. All right, so now I need to convert 2/3 into a 12th. I need to think about what I did to the denominator 3 to get it to 12. Well, times 1, 2, 3, 4. Whatever I do to the denominator, I have to do to the numerator. So 4 times 2 is 8. So 2/3 is equivalent to 8/12. Now let's convert 3/4 into 12ths. I need to think, what does my denominator 4 have to do with 12? Well, 4 times 1, 2, 3 gives me 12. Whatever I do to the denominator, I have to do to the numerator. 3 times 3 is 9. So 8 plus 9 is 17. 17/12. Now that's an improper fraction because the numerator is greater than the denominator. So this is at least 1, which means I can take away that whole. The 12 tells me that I need 12 pieces to get to that whole. So 17/12 minus 12/12 gives me 5/12. So that's 1 and 5/12. Now I need to use my factors to make sure I'm in simplest form. Let's find the factors of 5 and the factors of 12. 1 times 5. 1 times 12. 2 times 6, and 3 times 4. The only factor 5 and 12 share is 1, and if I divide by 1, I'm going to keep the same. So anyway, 5 is a prime number, and it's not a factor of 12. And when I count by 5s, I don't get to 12. 5, 10, 15. So 1 and 5/12 is in simplest form. If I look at my estimate, 1 and 6/12 is 1 and 1/2, and 1 and 5/12 is very close, so I trust my sum. 2/3 plus 3/4 plus 1/2. Let's estimate first. 2/3 is about 1/2. 1 is close to 3/4, and then 1/2 would also round to, well, we can keep 1/2, 1/2. 2/2 is 1, and 1 plus 1 gives me 2. So my sum should be about 2. All right, so remembering Miss F, we're going to do the multiples first and then the factors to make sure our sum is in simplest form. And we must do multiples first because we don't ever add denominators. If we added denominators, we'd have 3, 4, and 2, which would give us 9. Those are going to be smaller pieces. So my answer would actually get smaller. When I'm adding, it needs to get larger. All right, so let's count by 3s. Actually, I should do 2s, 3s, and 4s. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 3, 6, 9, 12. 4, 8, 12. All right, so the least common multiple is 12. So 2/3 is going to become a 12th, 3/4 is going to become a 12th, and 1/2 is going to become a 12th. And I don't ever add denominators, so I'm going to rewrite the 12. All right, let's convert 2/3 into 12ths. What do I do to the denominator 3 to get it to 12? Times 1, 2, 3, 4. Whatever I do to the denominator, I must do to the numerator. 4 times 2 is 8, meaning 2/3 is equal to 8/12. 3/4 into 12ths. What do I do to 4 to get it to 12? 1, 2, 3 times 3. Whatever I do to the denominator, I have to do to the numerator. 3 times 3 is 9, so 3/4 equals 9/12. And then 1/2, I could just think, what's half of 12? That would be 6, but let me go ahead and use math. What do 2 and 12 have to do with each other? Well, 2 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's what I thought, and 6 times 1 gives me 6. All right, I don't see an easy combination of numbers, so let's go ahead and do 8 plus 9, which is 17. And then we're going to add 6 to it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 17's in my head. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. 23 twelfths. 23 twelfths is an improper fraction because the numerator is greater than the denominator. Improper means not right, which also means it's not simplified. So we're going to take away that whole. The denominator tells me that I need 12 in order to get to the whole. 23 minus 12 is 11. So we have 1 and 11 twelfths. Now we need to use our factors. We're going to find the factors of 11 and 12 just to see if this is in simplest form or not. The factors of 11 are 1 and 11. 11 is a prime number. It only has itself and 1 as a factor. When I count by 11s, I don't get to 12, so I think this 11 twelfths is simplified. 11 22. But let's go ahead and do the factors of 12 just to verify. 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. Yep, the only common factor is 1. And if I divide by 1, I stay with 11 twelfths. So 1 and 11 twelfths is in simplest form. 1 and 11 twelfths is only 1/12 away from 2. So I trust my sum.